feeling today?
Not that much good, but yeah, quite well actually. Need 1 or 2 days to get up to the mark actually. So today what we will do, we will go with the lab with the practicals and we will deploy one server as a
Hmm.
delivery controller along with other Citrix core components. Okay. So
Hmm.
now just give me a minute. Someone is calling me. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's go to the hypervisor, like my remote server. Hmm. So this is my remote server, and in my remote server, what I have done, this is my hypervisor. Hmm.
So today we are going to install delivery controller and
And other core components. Okay, like hmm, studio, director, license server, along with delivery controller on a single machine. Okay,
okay.
but in production, you will find separate servers for the separate components for to avoid the uh, fault tolerance. Okay, but in test lab, we can do that. We can deploy these components on a single machine. Okay,
Okay.
so in production, you will always find, like in Citrix profile or Citrix production, you will find Gen server as an hypervisor everywhere. So this is our hypervisor and this is a bare metal one. And I installed that hypervisor on directly on the physical server. And
Okay. So this Zen server is the
hypervisor,
hypervisor.
yes. And Gen Center is the application from which we are managing the hypervisor. So basically, this is just an application, this Gen Center, okay?
Mhm.
This is a Windows application. I installed that Windows application on my domain controller, and from my domain controller, I have added my hypervisor. Like I can remove it from here. And this is just a simple application like WinRAR, Adobe Reader, or something like that, right? Like whenever
Okay.
you are working on like VMware ESXi. So for VMware ESXi, what you have to do? You have to open the web browser and you have to put some IP address over here, right? And with that IP address, you will be able to manage your VMware ESXi in GUI mode, right? But in case of Citrix hypervisor, you will get this application from Citrix, which is known as Gen Center. Okay, and
Okay.
in that
Okay.
Gen Center, what you can do, you can add multiple hypervisors like Citrix hypervisors. So click on Add a server. You have to put the IP of your hypervisor. So this is my IP. Username will be the root. Why? Because these are the Linux flavor hypervisors. Like it could be like VMware or any hypervisor. So all are on very light operating systems in Linux flavor. So let me enter the password for root user. Click on add. So it will sync up with the hypervisor, and in production you can add, you will find Gen server 01, 02, 03 up to n numbers of hypervisor as per the VDI account. Okay. So but at least two hypervisors should be there for high availability, right? Minimum two, and there is no limit for the maximum. Okay.
Mhm.
So simply, I already created one template here with Windows Server 2022. So to install any operating system in hypervisor, like to create any virtual machine, we have two ways. Like one is the traditional way. In traditional way, what you have to do, you have to click on the new virtual machine. Then you have to select the flavor like Windows Server. Click on next. Then you have to give some name to this machine. For an example, ABC. Then next. Then you have to install ISO media, that Windows Server. Where it is? Here it is. Then next. Then that is the hardware resources. It is showing like 28 GB of RAM is available on Gen Server 01. You can select the hypervisor. In our case, we are having only one hypervisor, but in production, you will get a list, okay, with the available resources. Click on next. Then you can decide the CPU and memory for this machine. 2 GB, 4 GB. If you want to increase, you can increase it as per the requirement. Next, then storage, you can select. If you want to increase the storage, click on edit. You can increase it from here like 32 to 60 GB or 100 GB, whatever is required. Click on cancel for now. Click on next, next, and finish. So once you will click finish now, what it will do, it will create new virtual machine. You can see it is created. If I click on the console, so you can see this machine is now booted up. It is asking
Okay.
to boot from CD DVD. That is a basic traditional method, right? To install OS on any virtual machine. But we are the IT guys, right? We do not have that much of time. Like we cannot waste 20 or 30 minutes in OS installation, right? So
Mhm.
what it will ask, it will ask you to create the partition, then it will load the windows, then you have to, set up the user account, select multiple things, right? These are the traditional method, right? So we are not going to, I'm just showing you how to create virtual machines in this console, but I'm not going to continue with that. Like here you have
No,
to select.
I know how it will continue. I know I have done it in the past. Yeah, this I know.
So I'm
Uh,
simply shutting down this machine. This is just for demonstration only, okay? And I'm deleting this machine. Now, what I did, I already created one template here, okay? So how to create the template? I installed one server OS with traditional method first, and once that machine was created, then what I did, I simply powered off that machine. I right click on that. For an example, that is a machine what we have created with the traditional method, right? So simply power it off, right click, and from here you can convert it to a template. So it will create a template, whatever the current status of that machine, okay? Like whatever application you have installed, whatever you have done, it will create a template and it will show it here. So I already created that template. Simply right click, click on a quick create. So you can see one machine is creating now. If I click on the console, so you will see within 20 to 30 seconds, our virtual machine will be ready with the OS. Okay. So you do not have to boot from CD DVD or that kind of traditional stuff. And in the meantime, what we can do, I can simply right click on this server 2022, go to the properties and give some identical name to this machine, right? So let's make it mm, Citrix, CTX for Citrix, DC for delivery controller, and DC01 I already do have that host name. So let's make it Citrix DC. Mhm. I do not want any conflict here. So
no, no. Let's see Citrix hyphen
mhm,
uh, WP. That's
WP
client Western Power hyphen
DC.
DC.
Okay.
So DC can be misunderstood, right? Domain controller and
No, it's a delivery controller. You can type
delivery
CDC,
control.
Citrix. That is the
Citrix.
only reason now why we type here
Uh.
CTX. Okay.
Okay.
So click
Correct.
click OK. So
Okay.
now you can see this is a machine and this machine is now powered on, right? So simply
Oh.
you can send control at delete and the template what I've created with the local administrator account, right? So
Yeah.
I'm
So tell me one thing. Okay. There'll be a hypervisor.
mm-hmm,
Okay. A bare metal machine.
mm-hmm.
On top of that bare metal machine, what you have done is
I
okay.
directly
On
installed
your
Citrix
on your
Hypervisor as
device,
an operating system.
no, on your device, first of
Mhm.
all, on your device, you have installed Zen Center, correct?
No, 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 no.
Hmm?
Gen
On your
server,
own
no?
device. No, no.
Look,
Okay.
look, let me show you. So what I have done actually, two physical servers are there, okay?
Okay.
So this one is domain controller
Okay.
and this one is my hypervisor, the bare metal hypervisor, okay?
Okay.
So
Okay.
in
Hmm.
this in this domain controller, like domain controller, I have taken a remote of domain controller, okay? In my domain
Okay.
controller, I have installed Gen Center, okay? The GUI tool.
Yes. So now what you are sharing, the device, the desktop, what it is
Mhm.
showing, it is your domain controller. You have
Yes,
logged into that domain controller
yes, yes,
operating system, Windows operating system
yes,
server.
yes. In my
On
domain
that, you have
controller,
installed Gen
Gen
Center.
Center. And with the Gen Center, I have added my bare metal hypervisor and I am
Bare metal
managing my bare
hypervisor.
metal hypervisor with the Gen Center. So this is a remote machine and this is
Correct.
the machine which is in my local area network. So
That
my
you are accessing it through Zen Center.
yeah, Gen Center with the help of my domain controller. Okay.
Correct.
Why?
Correct.
Because
Correct.
I need some Windows machine to install that application.
So
Right?
in the real time,
Mm.
in the real time, it could be any desktop also. I mean, my company provided laptop also can be done.
Yes, yes, yes. Any
My
Windows
company
machine.
provided
Yes,
laptop,
yes. But
on
it
my
should be joined
company
into
provided laptop,
yes, but that machine it should be on to the
joined
same
to
network.
that same network or the domain.
Yes.
On currently client provided laptop, I'll log in and then I'll install Zen Center. From there, I'll have to configure this Zen server.
Yes.
Okay. Now, uh, is there a situation where we'll have to um, create they'll get you a hypervisor, and on top of it you will have to install Citrix operating system, something like that.
Come again,
Okay,
what you are
to
asking?
to create to create the Zen server,
Mhm.
itself we will have to create, for example. That situation will be there.
No, they guys are having their own hypervisors, right? So you just have to manage the hypervisor. No one will be going to ask
Uh,
you to create new
Configure
hypervisor.
hypervisor.
Yes.
Uh, Configure, like um, the lightweight operating system that you told, the Linux based
Yes,
lightweight
yes,
operating
yes.
system.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
can.
have to create that.
You might have to do that, but that will be a new project requirement, right? If they need some expansion in current infra, right?
Okay.
And if their
Uh-huh.
hypervisors are, overutilized, in that case, you have to guide them. It is a simple operating system, just like we install Windows 7 or 10 now. It is same like that, but it is in Linux flavor, right?
Okay.
Have
For
you
that
ever?
you will have to use you will have to use some Linux commands to install that OS.
Nah, nah, simply mount the ISO media and it will. I will share one video with you how to install that OS. Okay, I have created that one.
Okay, okay, okay,
Okay, it
okay,
is very
okay.
very simple. You just have to select few options, but you cannot use mouse at that screen. Whatever you have to do,
Uh,
you have to do with your keyboard. Okay.
so you have any document which is created or only videos? If you have documents with screenshot and all that, that will be
Look, document creation it will take time, right? But
okay.
video is a very very if I have to create the document, na, so I have to go with the step by step. I have to snip each and every step, right?
No, 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 correct. If you have
Mm.
done any time in the past, okay, when you have designed multiple things,
I have
some people,
look.
somebody will, some client will ask, na, give me the installation procedure and
No,
all
no,
that.
no, no no client will ask that. Why? Because client just ask your design. They have nothing to do like how you are installing.
Okay,
Why? Because
okay.
whenever you are taking any project from any company, na, so that will be your responsibility to manage that project technically to provide the support.
Hmm.
Okay. So client, these guys are not only technical guys. Sorry. Okay. So coming to the point. So let me make it full screen. So our first task is to join this machine into our domain, right? So I will keep the same host name like CTS, WPDC, whatever we have given to this machine. Okay.
So yeah, once connecting to the hypervisor, we have created a clone of, okay, you have a template over there.
Mm-hmm.
You have created the clone of that template. You have created one more server. On that, we are going to join this device to the domain. Is it?
Yes, we are going to join this machine into our domain.
Domain. Okay.
So simply click on change. Name I will keep the same, CTX -WP -DC, and my domain is techmtech.com. And let me enter the credentials CTX admin. So these credentials you will find. I will give you the credentials whenever you will performing the practicals. Okay. Okay. So machine it is now into a domain. Click OK. Click on close and restart this machine. Okay. So now let me log in. So now always we remember whatever the operation we have to perform with our domain user accounts, right? We cannot use local admin account. So I simply logged in with that admin account. And now what we have to do, we have to install the core component like delivery controller, studio, director, license server on a single machine. For storefront, we will keep the separate server. Okay. So these three things along with the database we will configure on the single machine. So to do the same, sorry. So am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. So to do the same, we will get single package from Citrix, which is known as Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktop ISO Media. Okay. And you can mount that ISO media to the virtual machine. So I am selecting that and let me maximize
So
it.
this will be downloaded from the Citrix website, is it?
Yes. And I have
Okay,
mapped it over here. Okay, into the
this is
DB.
7. This is still 7.2, which is a old version, is it?
Yeah, like latest one is 2310 something like that. Okay. But I
Yes.
already downloaded it, but that is a stable one, na? So I will go with the stable one. Or else I have to download new ISO files, right? Again and again.
No. Correct. See, the thing is, in my case, na, we will
Uh-huh.
first install this and then upgradation we'll have to do, na.
Yes,
I
yes.
said we will, yeah, will go with the previous. I mean, the old.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello.
I can hear you now. What happened?
There might be some network glitch. Okay. So, in your case, what you have to do, you have to upgrade it from older one to the latest one, right? Or whatever the
Yeah.
requirement. So
Yeah. So the version 7 2106 means in the year 2021 it is released, and 06 is in the month of June, right?
maybe I'm not sure about the date. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually the Microsoft releases, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
the Citrix and the Microsoft releases these days,
Mm-hmm.
they're coming based on that.
So
That's how they are versioning it.
okay. So that is good now. Why? Because
Yeah.
right now we are deploying the older one, and after that we will
Correct.
upgrade that infra to the latest one.
Correct.
So you will
Correct.
get some idea. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So open the file explorer, then this PC. This is the installer file. Simply right click, click on install. So right now we are just deploying the infra. We are not upgrading it. We will upgrade it. Okay. Click yes. So in Citrix, like when it was GenApp and Gen Desktop, now on that time we have two options like GenApp and Gen Desktop. Like either you can create a one server for to deliver applications or to deliver desktop. But in virtual apps and desktop, you can create one server to deliver both the things. Are you getting this?
Okay. This is with the latest versions, right?
Yeah, latest version. But you can create a separate server as well to deliver applications. But in our case, what we have to do, we have to learn both the things, how to publish application and desktop both. Okay. So we will go with the second option. But in case you have to create a server to deliver applications only, you can go with the first option, right? But in our case, we will go with the second one. Okay.
Okay, now question, Mahesh. See, the thing is, sorry, I'm trying to parallelize everything
Mm-hmm.
with what could be there in the customer's environment. In
Mm-hmm.
the customer environment, since they were using with versions which is older than
Mm-hmm.
2018,
Mm-hmm.
they might have only servers which is serving apps, and only they might have installed only virtual apps on couple of few of the servers, and virtual desktop on couple of a few of the servers.
Right.
So, now when we are designing it
Mm-hmm.
now with the latest version,
Mm-hmm.
should we continue the same thing, or can we give them a better design or plan to change it?
Look,
Most,
we have to look for the possibilities. Like if some legacies are there now, so we have to continue with the legacies. Okay, we cannot change the entire infra. Okay,
okay, okay,
we just have to plan for the migration only. Okay, in future you can guide them, like you can destroy this application server and you can merge that application server with the desktop servers. Okay, that kind of R&D you can test after migration. Okay.
because no, because they can we will save them a good uh, money in terms
No,
of
you
license.
cannot do that. You cannot do that. Why? Because they already have 400 user license, right?
Huh, huh.
And they are having 300 or 350 connections at a peak time, right? So they
Yes.
are already having 50 plus licenses in additional. So please do not try to touch the infra like in that deep, right? Do not try to play with that. Simply first you just have to migrate it from Gen app to the virtual app, right? And you have to provide the support. And in future, like in next financial years, right, whenever things will be the stable in future, right, after the migration, then you can guide them for further plans, not right away. Okay,
Okay.
so we'll go with the second one, because new deployment is not a difficult task, but migration is always difficult. Why? Because you do not want to interrupt your existing infra. So
Mm.
here, as you can see in this, we are having multiple core components available, like delivery controller, virtual delivery agent that we will configure later when we will be preparing the master images. And along with delivery controller, what we will do, we will install director, license, and studio on a same machine. These three. Storefront, we will create a separate server, and print server, it's totally up to your client, but that is a additional like paid facility, okay, from Citrix. So whenever you will get some more details from your client, like what like if they are
What are their
using,
print solution?
yeah. So, and if they are using any session recordings for BDI console, so these are the some additional things, okay? So that we will cover in January, means as per the client requirement, right?
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay.
select the delivery controller. Perfect. Accept the license. Now, as I told you, along with delivery controller, Citrix Studio is must, right? Why? Because to manage delivery controller, you need some GUI tool. So
Yes.
if I uncheck this now, you will see this component must be installed at least on single machine, right? So that is a
Yeah.
console. You cannot manage any server without any console, right? So you have to
Yeah.
select this one. Director, you can uncheck. License server is must. Why? Because you must we needed one license server to allocate licenses. Okay. So
Okay.
in production, you will find studio on delivery controller for sure, but director and license server it will be on different machines or different virtual machines. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Click on next. Now,
So we are putting licenser also here only. Okay.
yes, we have to manage our hardware resources now.
So
We can
store point and the store sorry, what is that? Store point or
storefront we will keep it on a
storefront?
separate machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Storefront and there's one more server, right? Storefront and
Netscaler.
Netscaler. We will install it later.
Yes. We will configure different servers for them. Okay. Now, along with the core components, we need one database. Okay, to keep the records, right? So
Mhm.
in this package only you will find Microsoft SQL Server, but in production you will find some SQL team, right, who will be managing your SQL Server, right? So
Yeah.
in production you have to ask them if you want to create new database in SQL Server, you have to ask them to create new database, right? And they will give you some path to connect your like that will be already there, like Microsoft SQL Server it should be there, right? But in our case
Yeah.
we are installing that SQL Express on a this machine only, right? So
Yeah.
but in production you will find separate server for SQL and separate team. You have nothing to do with the SQL Server. Okay, you are not responsible to manage the database. Why? Because we are not the DBA guy, right?
Mm.
And this is very important, like Windows Remote Assistance tool. Why? Because this feature it is from Microsoft and it is required for shadowing the VDI session. Means whenever any user logged into VDI and user is facing any issue, so what you can do with the help of this tool, you can simply shadow end user screen. Okay, and you can advise or guide end user with the possible troubleshooting steps. Okay, why? Because sometimes there is a scenario like user will be able to launch the virtual machine, right? But user are unable to open Outlook or Teams or any other, like any application is getting crashed or whatever the reason, right? So for those to fix those kind of issue, you like user end screen it should be visible to you, right?
Yeah.
So click on next. Okay, this machine has less than 5 GB of RAM. Okay, one more important thing, like to configure the delivery controller, at least 5 GB of RAM is required. Okay, at least this is a minimum requirement, right? So
Mm.
I think let me check how many memory I allocated to this machine. I think we can get it from here. Oh, it's 4.9 GB. Okay, no worries. So what I can do, I can click on I understand. So installation it will be continue. Okay, and these are the port numbers, like for delivery controller TCP 80443, license servers, and for the director, right? So you can select these options like automatically, like if you are using Windows Firewall, so you can select that option, and during the installation these port numbers it will be automatically opened. into the Windows firewall during the installation. But if you are not managing the firewall, if you want to perform that activity manually, on if you are using any physical firewall, in that case you have to ask your network team to open these port numbers for proper functionality, right? But in every organization, Windows firewall is there, so go with the automatic one and click on next. And this firewall port number, it will be opened in this machine only, in delivery controller, not into the entire network. Okay, so that you
Okay.
are
So in the real time environment, you will have to open it manually, yeah?
no automatically only.
Automatically only.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next, so here is a summary what we have selected. That will be our installation directory. The prerequisite like Microsoft Visual or SQL Server, then your IIS services and remote assistant tool. After prerequisite installation, it will install the core components, and into the feature installation, it will install this this feature, and into the firewall, it will open these port numbers during the installation. Click on install. Now that is very boring, and that installation, it will take somewhere around up to 30 to 40 minutes to complete the entire installation.
Okay.
Why? Because multiple prerequisites will be installed. After that, core components, then post initialization, and that SQL Server installation, it will take some time. Okay, and why is that? Because we are installing multiple things on a single machine. I think in this call only 4 minutes are remaining. Let's see. Okay, so like after SQL installation, now this machine, it will ask you to reboot the machine, right? So whenever it will prompt now, you have to simply reboot the machine, and you have to log in with the same user account from which you have initiated the installation. Like in our case, our user is this, where it is. From where it will, this user, Citrix admin. Okay.
Okay. So you will log into the server with Citrix admin once
Mhm.
this thing is booted. But for the studio and all that, would it ask a different login or how is it?
No. This is my server. Okay. If I minimize this now, this is my server, remote server, right? And
Oh,
if you can see in my server, I have logged in with my admin account. Okay.
yeah.
But the thing is that this server, let me show you my Active Directory. So this server, it is basically configured for my students. Okay. So you can see students. Okay. So these are the students who is taking remote of this server like 24/7, day and night, right? And they guys are performing some activities, right? So actually, let me pick any user. Let me, which one I can, let me show you. I'm not sure what password I have given to this user. It will be expired on 30th November, right? Okay, so she has a deadline. So okay, so for an example, right now I logged in with as an admin account. Okay, now if I ask my student to log into the same machine, so what they will do? They will log in like use different account. So this is my how it looks like for my students. Okay, click OK. So now she is logging in and she will get nothing. Like in start menu, she will get only few options. If she will try to open the task manager, these operations are restricted, right? So my end user, it will only allow to open this application Gen Center, and they will connect to my hypervisor. And why I have created CTX admin? Why? Because CTX admin, it is a service account with all the privileges, and user cannot take a remote of my that service account. So
Okay, if she log in with her ID also through Zen Center and access this hypervisor,
yes,
uh,
so
all
in I
the all the all the servers under that hypervisor she'll be able to access, huh?
yes, with CTX admin account,
Mm.
but she cannot take a remote of my main server with CTX admin account. Why? Because this is a service account. So that
Got
account,
it.
it is for my hypervisors only.
But tell me one thing, see, to launch this Zen Center, she don't need any user, sorry, any access, any credentials, right? This
No,
app
that
will just open like that.
yes, that I allowed her with the help of group policy for every level student. They can
Okay.
only open Chrome like Citrix workspace and this lab guide, whatever they had here. This is a lab guide.
Correct. But
Mm-hmm.
in the real time, what I'm saying, in the real time, in the client environment,
Mm-hmm.